Hey guys, I'm Deepthi and in this video we're going to be talking about affordable makeup dupes to some very popular expensive makeup products. So I have some really good dupes that perform exactly the same or sometimes even better than the high-end product. Some of this just has even better performance and they just look almost exactly the same on the face once you've applied it. Now before we get started with the video, I need to talk about a face wash that I have been really loving and I have recommended this so many times, emptied so many tubes of this. I have this in pretty much every corner of like my house. I have it in my studio, I have it in my studio bathroom, I have it in my bathroom because this is very vital for me and it's a quick fix for me when I'm dealing with acne and the acne marks that it leaves behind. So if you are also someone who's been dealing with acne and acne marks, been there, I can understand. This is a face wash that tackles both acne and acne marks at the same time. This one is the Dermacco's 2% Sali-Cinamide Anti-Acne Face Wash. Now what makes this cleanser different is that it is powered by dermatologist love ingredients, that is salicylic acid and niacinamide. So it has 2% salicylic acid and 2% niacinamide. I use this sometimes once a day or twice in the morning and night depending on how my skin is performing. If I'm having some sudden flare up, if I've used some product that has clogged my pores, then I use it twice a day. It just perfectly fits into my routine. I've used this with so many other skincare products. I have tried it out, tested it out enough to know how much I need this and how much I like to use this. So dampen your face, massage this gently onto your skin and for about 30 seconds and then wash. First time I ever used this product, I went into trying this out not knowing what it was going to do and I had a lot of like breakouts around my cheek area. There was a lot of texture and within 2 to 3 days I started to see a difference. The breakouts became a lot less angry. They were not as red and not as flared up. The texture on my cheek area started to smooth out and some of the older marks on my face were already starting to lighten up. What I really like about this face wash is that it is gentle but effective. My skin felt very balanced. It was not very tight or irritated even after having a lot of active acne. I have emptied so many tubes of this one. Like I've mentioned, you would have noticed this in my past empties videos as well. So I just don't talk about a product just for the heck of it. If it's not working out for me, I'm not forced to use it till the end, right? And I really love this. And so if you are stuck in a cycle of having acne one day followed by acne marks the next day, you should definitely be trying this one out. Designed by dermatologists, backed by science, and it is super affordable. You can find this product on the Dermacco website and use my coupon code Deepthi2025 for additional discount. And these products are also available on Amazon, Nykaa, Flipkart, and Purple. Also, every single time you shop from the Dermacco website, they help link your order to a child they help educate along with Boomi Foundation. And as part of their Young Scientist initiative, they have empowered 20,000 plus students. So that is everything I want to talk about this face wash. There is going to be always maybe a skincare product in the beginning of the video. Now moving on to the makeup products. First up for primer, I have this Nars Light Reflecting Hydrating Primer Base. This is more like a strobe cream slash primer kind of a product. Like it's not very thick and very metallic like most strobe creams do. It does have that hydration, it does have that emollients like any primer does, but it also has that subtle peachy reflective glow. It looks really nice on the skin. It looks very natural. I mean, it's subtle but it's also like radiant but not too dewy looking on the skin. So even if you have oily skin, you would really like it. Now you can use pretty much any strobe cream dupes that were recommended in the past as a product that is closer to that primer, or if you wanted a really affordable alternative, I have this one from NY Bay. This is their Pro Strobe Cream in Gold Sapphire. The reason I picked this one out of all of the dupes is one, it's really affordable. It does have that subtle like golden tone to it, which works out for most Indian skin tones, and it also has the same kind of hydration, that glow factor, and it just looks really nice on the skin. It is a little bit more luminous than the primer itself. You can see it has more radiance, it has more glow on the skin when you apply it. It is also something that is very hydrating. It is emollient, it doesn't look too metallic, not too shimmery, it doesn't cling on to anything on the face, it doesn't emphasize any texture. So I prefer this alternative so much better than this, especially given the price tag. It's just like, where is the hydration in the primer? It's just gone away pretty much, but this one, it still leaves the skin a lot more glowy and hydrated. Next up, moving on to a color corrector, I have this one from Nars. This is their light reflecting eye brightener. I have this one in the shade Impossible Dream. This is for people of medium skin tones. Now I wish that I picked up the shade darker because it has a little bit more golden, I guess. This is a little bit too peachy pink for my dark circles, the kind of dark circles I have, but it does a really good job of sort of brightening that under eye area and sort of like correcting it. But I feel like we have really good affordable alternatives in the market that you could try out. One is the Revolution Eye Bright Corrector. This is in the shade medium to deep. The texture of this and everything is very similar to the Nars one, just that this one is a little bit more dewy looking on the skin and a little bit more like slippery. So this has a very like very smooth creamy texture. This one is not like that. Sometimes this is not very favorable because it makes your concealer crease and it also moves around a little bit. So if you ask me, I would say you can just stick to the e.l.f. Putty color correcting eye brightener. I have also inserted a demo of this one. This is a little bit stickier and thicker in terms of the texture, so it is a little bit like tricky to blend it, but once you get it to blend, it brightens really well. It gives you that coverage, and it's just for half or less than half the price of the Nars color correcting eye brightener. So if you have this, I don't think you would really need any other color corrector, but just make sure that you know how to work around this product. You first have to blend it with your fingers. It can leave finger marks because it has that very sticky texture, but this has always worked out for me. I've used this one a ton, and you can see how much I reach out for this pretty much on a daily basis, and I really like the color correction it gives. And then for foundation, I have the Nars Radiant Longwear Foundation. Now, even though the name mentions that it is radiant, it's not as radiant as you would imagine it to be. So this would work really well for people with normal to oily skin type, not for people with dry skin, because it is a little bit of a thicker foundation. It has really good coverage even for just one pump, but it is sort of like a matte-ish looking foundation. Like, it's not something that is extremely dry matte, but it's also not very glowy and not very thin in terms of texture. It is sort of like a radiant matte finish. So the Nars foundation I have in the shade Valencia, which is a little too orange for my skin tone, and it is a little too dark. So on camera you might not really notice it as much, but it is extremely orange looking on my skin. My ideal shade from this foundation probably would be Barcelona, I guess. Yeah, and a dupe that I have for this is from LoveChild. This one is their Skip Everything 4-in-1 blurring serum tint. This is a little bit more radiant than the Nars foundation itself. It's also a little bit blurring. It looks amazing on the skin. You would not like this again if you have very dry skin. This is for people with normal to oily skin type, and it has really good coverage and a little bit more of a radiance and more blurring effect than the Nars foundation. So I really like this comparison that I have side by side. You could also try the K-Beauty Soft Matte Foundation, because that also compares to this in terms of like the finish that it has, because that is also not straight up matte foundation, but it's not as blurring as this one is on the skin. And I think you can get a travel size of this. Recently they have launched one, so you could try that out probably. And then for concealer, this one is the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Concealer. I'm not the biggest fan of this because it doesn't last really well underneath my eyes, but it's really nice and creamy, and also it's a little bit more lightweight underneath the eyes, and also it's not very thick. Okay, so that's one thing that I really like about this concealer, but just that the lasting part of this doesn't work out that well for me. Now, if you wanted something similar, it's not a 100% match, but something similar is this one from House of Makeup. This is in the shade M02. This is their Zoom In Crease-Free Creamy Concealer. Now, it's very similar to the Fenty Beauty one, where it's creamy, it's like sort of hydrating underneath the eyes, but this is a little bit more thicker than that, so you have to use a very light amount of concealer. Like, you can see even in the applicator, it is thick, right? So you just need to apply a dot of it and then blend it out. If you just apply like one dot here and one dot here and then try to blend it out, it just works out to be a little bit too thick, creamy. It just looks too much underneath the eyes, especially if it's a lighter shade like this one that I have. It's M02, which is a little bit lighter for my skin tone. So just this much would do, and it spreads out evenly and looks very nice underneath the eyes. It also has a pretty decent wear time compared to the Fenty Beauty concealer. I don't really like to use this anywhere around my face or around my mouth. For some reason, it doesn't work out that well for me for the rest of my face. For my under eye area, this does work out really well, and it is certainly a crease-free concealer. I've tried it with setting it and without setting it as well, and it lasts pretty well on my under eye area without setting it. After like an hour mark, you can see that it's starting to fade away from the inner corner, but that happens to me with most concealer. And now for powder, I recently picked up this Nars Light Reflecting Powder. I picked up a lot of Nars products during the recent sale, and this is one such product I picked up, but this is really smooth and really nice underneath the eyes, but it does have a lot of shimmer particles, and also it doesn't pick up that well like in the pan, you can see it's a little hard pressed. The brush is actually picking up the right amount of product. You just won't get that same pickup with your fingers, okay? So this is nice, it's soft, it's blurring, but it does have shimmer particles, and some of it which does disperse underneath your eye area, some of it, okay? Not just, it's not like fully shimmery, but it does disperse some of that shimmer. But I feel like you could get something really affordable and still get that same thing. This one is the Swiss Beauty Select Focus FX translucent powder. This is said to be talc free as well. It has that same smooth finish like the Nars powder minus the shimmer particles. So you get something like this for a fraction of the cost. And for a powder like this, I would suggest using a very defined powder brush, like a very small narrow setting brush, because a bigger brush somehow takes off the concealer underneath your eyes. It does have subtle kickback but not too much, so just dust off the excess and then set it, and it does set it and blur it really well. Blush, which I have to talk to you guys about. This one is the Huda Beauty Black Cherry Blush Filter. This is one of my favorite blush formulas in the high-end range. It's very natural looking, and it's something that is very lightweight as well, and even if you go a little bit overboard, it's very easy to blend this. This has a staying power of about 2 hours on my face if I don't really use any powder blush on top of this or not set it or anything like that. And it is a little bit more dewy looking. The dupe I have for this that is very comparable to this one with that serum like blush finish. It's not very thick, not very pigmented, but not like it has no pigment at all. It's good blendability and lasting power. This one is the Fay Beauty liquid blush, and this is in the shade Nutty. The shade is also quite comparable to the Huda Beauty blush, and this one has a little bit more of a matte finish compared to the Huda Beauty one, and also looks a lot more smoother on the skin. And I really like the formulation of this liquid blush, and it has quickly turned out to be one of my favorite liquid blushes. Again, the lasting power of this is also like around 1.5 hours if I have not set it with any liquid powder blush on top of this, or not set it with powder as such. So I have very specific liquid or cream blushes that have lasted a long time on my face, but most blushes do fade away a lot sooner than expected. And then I have this Rare Beauty liquid contour. This one is in the shade Serene. This is a really nice medium toned contour shade which works really well for my skin tone. It is subtle, like it has sort of like, you know, neutral olive undertone to it, and it works out really well for my skin tone. And a comparable alternative is the e.l.f. Camo liquid bronzer and contour. I have this one in the shade medium. This does look a little bit shimmery in the tube, but it doesn't translate like that on the face at all. And this is a lot more olive toned compared to the Rare Beauty liquid blush, so just keep that in mind. But the blendability, the pigmentation and everything is just on par with the Rare Beauty bronzer. And look at the size of this. I don't think you even need this much of a bronzer. This is 14 ml, and this one you just get 4 ml of product, but I think it's okay because you use bronzers very sparingly. It's not something you're going to apply all over your face. And then for highlighter, I have this Dior Forever Glow Maximizer. This is a very pricey liquid highlighter. It's what I have on my face right now. It looks very natural. It looks like it's a little bit wet and glowy. It's a beautiful highlighter, no denying that, but it is definitely overpriced. And if you come really close, you can see a little bit of shimmer on my face. But I have a dupe which I have loved for so long. I've used it for so long. I love it more than most of my high-end makeup products. This one is the Nykaa Strobe and Glow liquid highlighter. This is one of the best highlighters in the market. Like, it's thick, okay, it doesn't like necessarily squeeze out from the bottle like you desire, but you just need a tiny drop of it, and it gives you the most wet looking, beautiful, dewy highlighter look. And also this will last you for a really long time. I have this for over 4 years right now, and I can see that it's going bad, okay? It's like it's smelling a little different, it's performing a little different, but it is one of the best liquid highlighters I own, and it gives you that very editorial, glowy, beautiful, wet looking highlighter effect. And even if you come really up close, you can't really see the shimmer particles as such. It's not like tiny shimmer flecks all over your face. It doesn't look like that. It's dispersed very evenly. It's blended out so beautifully into this formulation, and it looks really nice. I mean, it is a highlighter. It does have shimmer particles, and it's not something I would recommend you use without makeup, because you need a little bit of makeup for this to blend onto it. But it is certainly a very nice natural looking highlighter. And then moving on to setting spray, I have this one. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake setting spray, but it is a really good setting spray if you want your makeup to last well without looking too dry dry, without looking too powdery, and also it's not a dewy looking setting spray by any means. It's just a proper setting spray, like sets your makeup. It's not a fixing spray. It doesn't fix your makeup. It doesn't make it look a lot better. But I feel like if you have something like the L'Oreal 3-second setting mist, if you really like that, that is really like makes your makeup transfer proof pretty much. Or you can use something like this Tinted Mask Fit Makeup Fixer. I don't really like the L'Oreal one because I feel like it smells so strong and it provokes my allergies. I don't really use it as much. But if you have that, you don't really need any other setting spray pretty much. And also if you have this Tinted Mask Fit Makeup Fixer, this also sets your makeup pretty well. It does make it pretty transfer proof. I mean, there is a subtle transfer here and there, but not too much. So this is a good alternative, and I tried it with the Mask Wonder Fixer, but this makes the makeup transfer a lot more than this. So yeah, that's the reason I stuck to this one. And then moving on to eyes, I have the Urban Decay Space Cowboy eyeshadow. It's a really nice metallic reflective eyeshadow. It has fine glitter particles to it, but not chunky, not something that has a lot of fallout. And you don't really even need a base eyeshadow with this. It's really nice and pigmented. It looks smooth, it looks beautiful on the eyes. But I feel like these kind of white-ish looking eyeshadows don't complement my skin tone as much. I really like something that has a little bit more gold to it. But if you wanted a good alternative for that, you can try the e.l.f. Finest Fleck Glitter Eyeshadow. It's not an exact match in terms of like the way it looks, like the pigmentation or the sparkle or the sheen it has, but it is quite close. It's like a 95% match. This does need a little bit of a base eyeshadow. You can use it without that as well. Like in the demo, I've showed it to you guys without any base eyeshadow. It still does show up really well, but it's not as smooth or not as glossy or shiny looking like the Urban Decay one. Like in the pan particularly, if you're going to take it up like this, it feels a lot more drier, but on the eyes it does have a little bit more of that glossy smooth effect and good shimmer to it. And this has, the shade is a little different. I feel like this has a little bit more of like a purple base to it, and that you can see that shift when you come really close. This is more like champagne. Yeah, pretty close. This is in the shade Champagne Showers, by the way, the e.l.f. one. And then for mascara, I've tried out so many expensive mascaras, and of late so many have been disappointing. Like recently I got this one. What is this? Where is this? This is the Pat McGrath Fetish Eyes Mascara. I've seen a lot of people review this. A lot of people really like this one. I tried it out. It's what I have on this side of my eye. It's okay. It's like decently lengthening, volumizing, not very clumpy, but also not the kind of formula I like. It's a little bit too, on the drier side for me. But I feel like a good alternative would be the Maybelline Falsies Lash Lift Mascara. This Maybelline mascaras, Maybelline is really good at making mascaras, and this one is also a dupe for a lot of other mascaras I own. It's nice, lengthening and volumizing. It's what I have on this side of my eye. And I feel like it's a comparable dupe and an alternative, and you don't really have to spend like 2000 plus on a mascara that just performs very subpar. For lips, I have the Nudestix Intense Matte Lip and Cheek Pencil in the shade Retro, and a lot of people were asking me if the Love Earth lip crayon in the shade Iris is similar. It is in fact very similar, but it's just that Nudestix has a little bit more red to it compared to Love Earth Iris. Iris is a little bit more brighter looking. I mean, it's not very the red in the Nudestix lip crayon makes it a lot more subtle and a lot more wearable, and the Love Earth lip crayon is a little bit more brighter, but they are very, very similar shades. It's like a 98% match, and for a fraction of the cost. So if you wanted to try out a similar shade, you could. This shade is also similar to Burgundy, because Nudestix Burgundy and Retro are just almost similar shades, with this one having a little bit more red tones to it. So this would serve as a dupe for both of the shades, but closer to Retro. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the products I wanted to talk to you guys about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Do let me know if you want to watch more such dupe videos and in the future, and I will try to gather up all of the products, try to find them performance wise and everything as similar as I can. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what other videos you would like to watch, and give this video a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.